The movie kicks off with Benny, who takes us back to the fateful day the apocalypse began. He recalls going on a pig hunt with his brothers, Mulla and Tony. That night, around the campfire, Benny noticed a stunning meteor shower lighting up the sky, something that sent a chill down his spine. The next morning, Benny wakes up to a nightmare. His brothers are gone. Searching for them, he finds Mulla's lifeless body and Tony lurking in the bushes. But as Tony turns around, Benny realizes with horror that it's not his brother anymore. A terrifying chase ensues, with Tony relentlessly following Benny for hours. Desperate, Benny hacks off Tony's leg, but he can't bring himself to kill his brother. It's a choice he will regret for the rest of his life. The scene shifts to Barry, a mechanic who has it all, a loving wife, Annie, and a daughter, Megan. The family shares a peaceful dinner. It's a wholesome moment as they laugh together at the table. And later, Barry dozes off next to Annie, unaware that his world is about to be torn apart. Then, we meet Barry's sister, Brooke, preparing for a photo shoot with her friends, Sherry and Charlie. But the fun quickly turns to horror when Charlie suddenly starts coughing up blood. Before anyone can react, she transforms into a bloodthirsty zombie and attacks. Brooke barely escapes to the ceiling, but the terror doesn't stop there. Sherry becomes the next victim when the zombified Charlie rips her throat out. Panicked, Brooke finds a hook to trap Charlie, but as she comes down, she's ambushed by Sherry, now a zombie herself. In a heart-stopping moment, Brooke fights back and kills her former friend. But her escape is blocked when she finds another zombie at the door. Brooke calls her brother Barry, desperate to warn him. She tells him to get his family out of the city before it's too late. But just as Barry starts to comprehend the nightmare unfolding, Annie interrupts, her voice trembling as she says, "There's a man in the kitchen." Barry spots a zombie devouring raw meat. He tries to stop it, but the creature lunges at him. Annie, in a panic, steps in to defend him, stabbing the zombie first with a knife and then with an axe. But it's not enough. Barry takes control, finally putting the zombie down. He quickly masks up and urges Annie and Megan to sprint to the car. As they make their way, Barry fights off more zombies to protect his family, eventually managing to climb into the driver's seat. Once inside, he tells Megan to get to the back seat and close her eyes as he drives through the horde, crushing zombies in his path. The next morning, Brooke jolts awake to find Charlie yelling right in her face. Just then, two soldiers arrive, taking Charlie down and turning their attention to Brooke. They pull her from her place, tie her up, and take a blood sample, confirming she isn't infected. When they try to knock her out with chloroform, Brooke smashes the bottle, forcing them to take her by force. Meanwhile, Barry and Annie are frantic when they realize Megan isn't breathing. But as they get closer, Megan tries to attack them. She's been infected. Annie, also feeling the effects, hides her symptoms from Barry. As they drive onward, Annie finally admits she's changing. Heartbroken, Barry shares a final kiss and hug with her. But soon enough, Annie transforms and lunges at him. He begs her to stay back but realizes he has no choice and ends her suffering. Then he turns to Megan, filled with sorrow, and does the same to free her from her misery. At the same time, Brooke regains consciousness in a lab, terrified to find herself surrounded by zombies and human test subjects. A creepy surgeon enters, shining a light to confirm she isn't infected. He plays some music, dances around, and then drains blood from a zombie, injecting it straight into Brooke's spine without hesitation. Back on the road, Barry, having lost all hope, is suddenly approached by another survivor, Jack. As Barry and Jack argue, they're interrupted by zombie screams. In despair, Barry grabs Jack's gun, ready to end it all, but Jack stops him, sparking a fight that only ends when zombies close in. They take down the undead together, but Barry still tries to grab the gun. Jack knocks him out cold. When Barry wakes up, he's in Jack's car. Determined, he forces Jack to stop, but Jack manages to calm him down. Barry explains he needs to reach Billa Billa, and Jack agrees to give him a lift. On the road, they spot zombies blocking the way, and Barry tells Jack to plow right through. But just ahead, the truck stalls, and Barry tries to fix it without luck. Suddenly, gunshots echo from nearby, and they head into the woods to investigate. Jack leads with his gun, but is instantly shot, his head blown apart by Benny, who mistook him for a zombie. As more zombies approach, Benny, realizing Barry can handle guns, hands him his double-barrel shotgun and asks him to lead the way. Meanwhile, back in the lab, the twisted surgeon toys with zombies to panic them, then turns to Brooke. Just as he questions why she's awake, another test subject's neck alarm goes off. Calmly, he uses a device to extract a reddish serum from the subject's nose. But soon, Brooke's alarm starts blaring, drawing the surgeon's attention. He messes up with Brooke and laughs, telling her she is meant for another top-up. He prepares another dose of zombie blood, and as Brooke resists, he warns, taunting her that it could lead to seizures, or worse. Meanwhile, Benny and Barry arrive at a workshop and find Kel battling zombies. Benny quickly asks Kel if they can join forces, and Kel agrees. Kel and his buddy, Frank, open the door as Benny and Barry fight their way through. Once inside, a zombie lunges at Barry, but Kel blasts its head off. Barry suggests escaping in Frank's Hilux, but Frank explains that nothing is flammable anymore, not petrol, not metho, not kerosene. That's why all vehicles stalled on the roads. Kel and Frank introduce Barry and Benny to Neville, a zombie they've locked in a fridge. Then Kel flicks a match at some zombie blood, and it flares up. Realizing zombie blood is flammable, Barry gets an idea. He shows Kel and Frank that the gas zombies produce can ignite too, which could be the fuel they need to get vehicles running. To test it, they use Neville to start a roller engine, and it works. Excited, they suit up and grab their weapons to bring the Hilux inside. Using meat as bait, they lure zombies away, hook the truck, and start firing. As bullets run low, they take on zombies hand to hand. During the fight, a zombie bites off Kel's nose. Frank hopes Kel won't turn and tries to protect him, but Benny knocks him down to be safe. Finally, they use Kel as a fuel source, modify the truck, and get ready to leave the workshop. Brooke opens her eyes and feels a strange link with a zombie nearby. Experimenting, she realizes she can control it with her mind. Just then, soldiers bring in 2 more zombies, and Brooke makes one of them kick a soldier, and then pick up a blade to stab himself. Furious, the soldiers beat down the zombie, but the surgeon steps in, breaking up the fight and exchanging heated words with the soldiers before they leave. Meanwhile, Barry and his group stop in the woods to refuel, noticing zombies nearby. Barry and Benny take down 2 zombies, while Frank uses a gas-powered harpoon to capture another, dragging it into a cage. Suddenly, Benny needs a bathroom break and insists Barry stop the truck. Ignoring Frank's suggestion to take a gun, Benny steps out, and as he's peeing, a zombie pops up from underground, barely missing him. He jumps back in the truck, but Barry realizes that the zombies have stopped producing gas. Frank explains they only generate gas during the day and use it to move faster at night. Suddenly, they notice zombies headed their way and jump into their truck, deciding to spend night there. As they wait in the truck, they start talking about what might have caused the apocalypse. Frank mentions Wyrmwood, referring to the biblical revelation where a star falls to Earth, bringing a disease that kills millions. He thinks last night's meteor shower might have been the beginning of the end. The group decides to rest, but Barry can't sleep. Closing his eyes only brings nightmares of killing his family. Overcome, he shoots at a zombie, accidentally setting the car's roof on fire. Knowing the fire could reach the compressor, Barry goes outside to put it out. He fights off zombies as he battles the flames, finally extinguishing them. As he returns to the truck, a zombie breaks through, biting Frank and breaking his hand. Frank begs Benny for the medical kit, but all Benny finds are beers. Accepting his fate, Frank shares a final drink with his friends and asks Barry to end it before he turns. Saddened, Barry grants Frank's last wish. The next morning, Barry and Benny notice that the zombies have started producing the gas and decide to start their truck. Along the way, they pay their respects to Kel and Frank, leaving only after ending Kel's suffering. Shortly after, they come across a soldier's truck. The soldiers inform Barry that the virus does not affect individuals with A negative blood type. One of them tells Barry about their captain, who has a camp nearby, and invites Barry and his companion to join them since they need more survivors. Hearing Barry is headed to Bulla Bulla to locate his sister, the soldiers deceitfully claim they have her at the camp. One of the soldiers pretends to communicate with the captain and confirms Brooke's presence there. Although Barry is skeptical, he reluctantly agrees to follow their lead. Meanwhile, inside the camp, Brooke regains consciousness and uses her powers to compel a zombie to free himself using a concealed surgical blade. As the zombie breaks free, Brooke attempts to grab the surgeon's gun but inadvertently causes the zombie to awaken him. Startled, the surgeon quickly kills the zombie. The surgeon turns his attention to Brooke, and as her alarm suddenly blares, he threatens her while preparing a cannula to extract her serum. Brooke uses her abilities to buy some time by distracting him. Taking advantage of the moment, she connects with a nearby zombie and forces it to bite off the surgeon's finger. Panicked, the surgeon amputates his own hand. The surgeon approaches Brooke with a cutter, but it's too late. He transforms into a zombie. Brooke compels him to set her free and then kills him. She opens the back door, where Barry spots her. As the soldiers begin firing at them, Barry urges Brooke to leap onto their truck. He activates the nitro boost to make their escape, but despite his efforts, the soldiers manage to hit one of the fuel zombies powering the truck, forcing it to a stop after a while. As Benny points out that they need a zombie for their truck, Brooke uses her powers to summon one. Barry panics and prepares to shoot the zombie, but Brooke stops him. After confirming they want the zombie in the back of the truck, Brooke compels it to climb in, revealing to Barry that she can control zombies. Suddenly, Benny is shot as the soldiers arrive and open fire. The group manages to escape, but Brooke soon tends to Benny's wound and realizes it's severe. Despite his condition, Benny flirts with Brooke, and they share a light moment. Brooke then inquires about Annie and Megan, learning from Barry that they are dead. The group decides to stop the truck to address Benny's worsening condition. Benny begs them to leave him in the forest, but Barry refuses. As they discuss their next move, Brooke begins to feel unwell. Barry approaches and hugs her, offering comfort while admitting that he had to kill Annie and Megan. Distraught, Brooke demands Barry's gun, seemingly intending to take her own life. Before she can act, the soldiers catch up to them. Brooke manages to take down one of them before rushing away. Barry tries to confront the remaining soldiers but is subdued with rubber bullets. Later, Brooke summons more zombies to protect her brother, but the soldiers easily eliminate them. The captain captures Barry and uses him to force Brooke to surrender. The captain orders his men to prepare for Brooke's execution and to burn everything else. As the soldiers ready themselves, Brooke asks Benny for a matchbox, planning to set the compressor on fire to destroy everything. However, Benny has another idea. He suggests allowing himself to be bitten so Brooke can control him to retrieve a nearby gun. The soldiers drag Brooke to the execution area and prepare to behead her. At the last moment, Benny lets himself be bitten. Under Brooke's control, Benny breaks free and uses the gun to shoot down the captain's associate. Quickly reacting, the captain kills Benny. Enraged, Brooke and her zombies surround him. As Brooke demands his surrender, the captain shoots her down. He then turns his attention to Barry. Despite Barry's threats, the captain challenges him to a one-on-one fight. The captain proves to be highly skilled and quickly overpowers Barry. Desperate, Barry strikes him where it hurts the most, infuriating the captain, who then resorts to using his gun. Dragging Barry back, the captain fends off a zombie attempting to bite him, killing it in the process. Noticing blood smeared on the captain's face, Barry grabs a matchstick and sets his face on fire. Just as Barry is about to finish him off, Brooke and her zombie allies revive. Brooke uses the zombies to kill the captain, finally ending the confrontation. Afterward, Barry and Brooke come across another truck. When the soldiers inside attempt to deceive them, Brooke commands her zombies to attack, eliminating the threat, and the movie ends with that. The movie kicks off with a bang as Brooke, a fierce hybrid zombie, goes feral, attacking a soldier with brutal force. She quickly loses control, bites Grace on her neck and turns on her own brother, Barry, along with their friends, Grace and Maxie. Barry stops Grace just as she's about to shoot Brooke and hands Brooke a blood vial that helps her regain her senses. After Brooke calms down, Barry pleads with Grace and Maxie to trust them, but Grace snaps, shooting Barry and calling them both monsters before storming off. Then, we meet Reese, a soldier in the zombie apocalypse, starting his day with some serious zombie killing routine. Living alone in a fortified den, he's resourceful, using zombies to power his makeshift gas supply, water his garden, and more. When one zombie's gas runs out, he nonchalantly replaces it with another fresh one. After that, he heads out to hunt down more zombies for his boss, the Colonel, in hopes of developing a cure. Reese gets a tip-off about a survivor on a motorcycle, so he waits, ambushes him, and hauls him back to the bunker. As he hands the survivor over to the surgeon, he pushes for updates on the cure, but the surgeon only gives a vague, "We're close." Then, Reese hears about a powerful hybrid spotted nearby Brooke. With the promise of avenging his brother's death, Reese sets out to track her down. Meanwhile, we cut back to Maxie and Grace. Maxie feels guilty for abandoning Barry and Brooke, but Grace is adamant. They're monsters, not to be trusted. Out of nowhere, Grace starts transforming into an aggressive hybrid zombie, but Maxie manages to calm her down. Once Grace regains control, Maxie hands her a vial of blood to prepare for whatever's next. Just as they're moving on, a rocket hits their car, flipping it over. Reese arrives to check out the wreckage, but only finds the zombie they were using as fuel. Suddenly, Grace hurls a grenade at him and charges, but her attacks barely faze him. When she tires out, Reese knocks her down with ease and hauls her into his truck. Maxie, hiding nearby, can only watch as her sister is taken away. Meanwhile, we're back with the surgeon, who returns to his lab, fighting symptoms of a creeping infection. In a dark turn, he tortures a female zombie, draining her blood to create a serum that temporarily keeps his infection at bay. Just as he injects himself, the Colonel and his sergeant walk in and catch him red-handed. The Colonel orders the sergeant to kill him, but then suddenly, the Colonel blows the sergeant's head off, revealing he's infected too and in need of the serum. He warns the surgeon that HQ is suspicious about the low serum production, but the surgeon reassures him that capturing Brooke will solve everything. Back to Reese. Grace wakes up in the truck and immediately tries to attack, but Reese is a formidable opponent. As she becomes more aggressive, she transforms into a full zombie. Just as Reese is about to shoot, Grace manages to drink blood and snaps back to her senses. Reese, realizing she's a hybrid, knocks her out again. He returns to the bunker, where two mysterious barrels are waiting. When the Colonel steps out, Reese questions the barrels, but the Colonel brushes him off. Reese, still suspicious, reveals he's brought a hybrid back for them. As soldiers drag Grace away, she suddenly transforms, putting up a fierce fight, but they quickly overpower her. Just as they're about to shoot her in the leg, Reese steps in, calming her down. When Reese questions the Colonel about Grace's potential role in a cure, the Colonel shuts him down, ordering him to do his deliveries. Like a good little soldier. On his way, Reese's car runs out of fuel, and he finds his zombie fuel generator is out of methane. He quickly lures a new zombie, replaces the old one, and hits the road again, only to have Maxie sneak into his car. At his next bunker stop, he tries to talk to the doctor but is ignored, while Maxie hides beneath the car, watching. Grace, meanwhile, wakes up trapped in the surgeon's lab, horrified as the surgeon battles his own uncontrollable hand, which seems to turn against him, smacking him around. She watches, stunned, as he kills another zombie to extract serum. Reese finally heads back to his hideout, plays some calming audio, and crashes into sleep. But just as he closes his eyes, the lights flicker. He goes to check, only to find Maxie waiting to ambush him. She knocks him out cold. The next morning, Reese wakes up to Maxie threatening him, help her find her sister or else. Reese calms her down, patches up a wound on her, and then drives through the door with her. On the way, Maxie spots a picture of Brooke and Barry in his car. Reese calls them terrorists, denying he's like them. Just then, he hatches a plan, ejects Maxie from the car, knocks her out, and brings her straight to the bunker. The Colonel shows up to collect the delivery, and is thrilled that Reese brought in the hybrid girl's sister. But when Reese hears a soldier say she's going to end up in a barrel anyway, he snaps, taking down the Colonel and his men as the surgeon and Grace watch on security cameras. Reese and Maxie escape in his truck, chased by the Colonel's crew. Despite Reese using nitro, they're still gaining on him, so Maxie bails out of the truck just before it's hit by a rocket. Reese wakes up hanging upside down as the Colonel taunts him, describing the brutal death he'll face when the zombies close in. After the Colonel leaves, the zombie horde approaches, but instead of attacking, they freeze, and Reese is stunned to see Brooke and Barry appear. Barry scolds Reese for handing Grace over, while Brooke lunges at him, demanding respect and offering a choice, friendship or a face-off. Reese wisely chooses friendship. Later, as they head to the bunker, Reese starts coughing. Barry gives him a pill and asks about it. Reese only knows it keeps him from turning. Brooke, furious, questions Reese about the Colonel's gruesome methods, but Reese insists he's clueless. Brooke unleashes her powers, tearing through guards as they storm the bunker. Inside, Barry opens a barrel, revealing a corpse to a horrified Reese. When Reese confronts the doctor, he coldly admits they use zombies to make serum. When Reese asks if the serum is a cure, the doctor admits it's just a temporary fix. Reese then learns the horrifying truth: they've been grinding zombies into powder to make his pills. Realizing he's been ingesting ground-up zombies all along, Reese snaps, killing the doctor in a rage. Barry tries to calm him, but Reese is out for revenge, vowing to help Brooke and her friends wipe out everyone in the bunker. Meanwhile, the Colonel enters the surgeon's lab to drain serum from Grace, but the surgeon warns her blood isn't ordinary. They're interrupted when they see Reese, Barry, and Brooke captured on camera. Reese and Barry send down 2 zombies rigged with bombs. As the door opens, Brooke breaks free of her cuffs, and they take down the soldiers with ease, leaving the Colonel and surgeon in shock. They send 2 more bomb-rigged zombies to clear a path, and Maxie sneaks inside, taking control of the operating room. As Brooke, Reese, and Barry storm the bunker, the Colonel orders the surgeon to handle Brooke while he deals with the others. Brooke uses her powers to pinpoint the soldiers' positions, and Reese and Barry quickly cut through them. Then, Brooke senses Grace is alive and demands they open the lab door. But as she steps inside, it slams shut, trapping her. It's a setup. Outside, the Colonel arrives, holding Maxie hostage to disarm Reese and Barry. He then throws Maxie aside and prepares for battle. Meanwhile, Brooke faces off against a monstrous zombie remotely controlled by the surgeon. Brooke fights back with her zombie monster, but the creature turns on her and quickly overpowers her. The surgeon sneers, ready to open her skull. Meanwhile, the Colonel taunts Reese for teaming up with his brother's killer and shoots Barry. Reese tries to fight back, but the Colonel overpowers him, brutally stopping Barry from reaching his gun as Reese tries to regain his strength. Back in the lab, Brooke is nearly finished by the monster. Just then, Grace, using her hybrid powers, controls the surgeon's zombified hand, giving Brooke a chance to unleash her fury on the monster. Grace even forces the surgeon to choke himself, but he quickly electrocutes her, taking her out. He reanimates the monster and goes after Brooke, but she shocks it to death, triggering the bunker's emergency systems. As the Colonel gains the upper hand on Reese, he's seconds away from pulling the trigger when Maxie blows the Colonel's head to pieces. Maxie hurries to Brooke, who's now fully in beast mode. Maxie manages to lock herself in a cage while Reese seals the door. Barry's worried, but Reese spots blood vials nearby and forms a plan. Barry tries to distract Brooke, but she bites him on the neck, then turns on Reese. Just in time, Maxie throws Brooke the blood, calming her down. As they regroup, they realize the surgeon has taken Grace and is escaping. Outside, he sets the bunker to self-destruct. Reese scrambles to find an exit, but time is running out fast. With the bunker set to blow, Brooke and Barry hatch a plan. Brooke uses Barry to charge the elevator, and she tells Reese and Maxie to escape while they wait for the explosion. Meanwhile, the surgeon sneaks into Reese's hideout, getting his serum extractor ready. Reese and Maxie, finding their van destroyed, spot a bike nearby, only to see the zombie fuel source has run out of gas. Reese finds a corpse, cracks open its skull and feeds the zombie fresh brains to get the bike running. Inside the hideout, the surgeon sets up the extractor, shoving a cannula into Grace's nose to drain her serum and jabbing a second one into his own with the help of a soldier. Just as he completes the transfer, the soldiers notice his hidden bike, but it's too late. The newly enhanced surgeon kills them both. Reese and Maxie burst in moments later to find Grace unconscious. Suddenly, the surgeon appears, easily overpowering Reese and locking Maxie in a cage. He sneers at Reese, saying he'll regret killing Reese as he has kept him alive for a year by his deliveries, then tries to drain his brain. But Grace revives just in time, stabbing the surgeon through the chest with a rod, tearing him apart. She turns to Reese, but instead of attacking him, she grabs blood, drinks it, and rescues Maxie. Maxie hugs her sister while Reese finishes off the surgeon with a final, skull-crushing blow. As Reese's condition worsens, he refuses the pills, ready to end things, but Grace and Maxie convince him to keep fighting. These pills are his way to reclaim his soul. In the final shot, the scene cuts to the bunker rubble. Brooke and Barry crawl out, alive but burnt and transformed, leaving viewers on the edge as the credits roll.